Hey everybody, it's LaMarr. Spoke to Josh recently about doing a video showing a couple new pitching devices that I'm using to develop my pitching mechanics as well as my pitches. Pitch design and pitch shaping are something that can be improved with the use of some technology. And what I'm did today and what is a main goal for me between now and the World Series in November in Arizona is to make some changes to my slider. So what we're going to show you right now is some of the things I did in my bullpen session in the backyard today, throwing in a net, throwing on flat ground, probably 50 feet-ish. But the spin on the ball is mainly what I'm looking for. Not only the spin rate, but the type of spin, the amount of inches of movement either or break, either horizontally or vertically, and then also my arm angle on my release. On the clock, like 12-6 would be a curveball coming from here, and then, for lefty, I'd have 11 o'clock would be a high 3/4, and then 10 o'clock a little bit lower 3/4. So it'd be like 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock to break the ball. So the first thing before we get into the dashboard on the product, let me show you what they are. So first, I'm using a pocket radar. The pocket radar today was really just sitting on the ground in front of me, picking up the velocity so I could kind of compare it with the other device that I used. But the pocket radar, it also can have video connected to it, where it'll record a video of your mechanics or ball flight, and it'll tell you out loud with the speaker what your velocity is on each pitch. But the other one that we use today is a Diamond Kinetics PitchTracker Ball. So the ball has a little microchip inside, and you sit it on a little charger until it's fully charged, and it should charge for about 60 pitches. It said I only threw 17 pitches in my session today. And then you pair it up with your iPhone or your iPad, and then you throw it, and on your dashboard it'll record all the data. I also used for the first time today the video function with it. So it's got the video camera behind my left shoulder, so I wanted to see my release point. I wanted to also see if I start from inside the 90-degree mark before I spiral out to my release point. I was also hoping to pick up some ball flight, but unfortunately, because the camera was back a little bit, it also picked up my lower body, and as my leg comes around and my follow through, my finish, it seems to block the end of the last couple of feet of the pitch. In the dashboard and on the videos, you're going to see it talk a lot about gyro spin. And let me talk about the different types of spin. So here's a spinner. This is set up for 4-seam. So naturally, we've got backspin, like a 4-seam fastball. It comes off your fingertips, it creates backspin. And the direction is going to be in the direction of the spin. So this would be rising. Although we all know that, physically it's impossible to rise, but it won't be sinking. That's what we mean by rising. And then we've got topspin, and topspin is like your curveball, and it's going to pull the ball down in the direction of the spin. And then we've got side spin, which should be this way. A guy with a low arm slot may throw a breaking ball, a frisbee type slider this way, and it would go in the direction of it. Or a guy would throw a screwball that way, or come off on your 2-seamer, and that would be your side spin. All right, and then the last one we have is what they call gyro spin. And gyro spin is going to look like this. It's also called rifle spin and bullet spin, and those two terms may be easier to understand what gyro spin is. But gyro spin has no spin-induced movement. Like I said, the fastball movement would be up this way. The 2-seam movement, the what do you call top spin would have movement this way. The side spin would have movement this way or that way. Gyro spin has no movement to it at all. But on sliders, you want to have a majority of gyro spin, and then it's going to flip to side spin at the end, and that's going to be your break. So this will bring it down by Magnus force, make it sink, and then at the end it's going to break with a little bit of side spin. And that's what I'm looking for today, a low gyro spin and a high spin rate. So this is the dashboard from my 17 pitches. Here you'll see a summary down the side that shows me the average of all my pitches for the day, all 17 of them. And then each individual pitch. So let's look at pitch 17. This was a fastball. It was at 56 miles an hour. It had a spin rate of 1,339 RPMs. The spin direction on that was from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. The spin efficiency was 77%, and that's not good. That's something I got to work on. That should be about 85 to 90%. Spin efficiency it's subtracting from the total spin the amount of gyro spin, because on a fastball we want a very low percentage or zero gyro spin, and that is taking away from some of the movement that I should have on my fastball. And when I look at the results today, I had more movement on the fastball than I expected and less movement on the slider than I expected. And then it also shows that this fastball had 11 inches of vertical break, and it had 16 inches of horizontal break to my arm side. And then there's a video that will show where the pitch is plotted and the spin direction of the ball. There's the pitch itself. There's the velocity. There's the total spin rate. There's the spin efficiency. There's the angle of the direction of the spin, and then the location of it. It gives me my extension. My extension was 2.8 feet, and that's probably my lowest one that I had. I had some that were about 4 feet, and I'd like to get that a little longer. This showed that I reach out more on my slider than I do on my fastball. And that's, again, something that I was surprised at. And now that it's brought to my attention, I'm going to focus on reaching out more on a fastball. And it's got some time to the plate, time to delivery, and time to the release. Then we'll go back again, and we'll pick up the camera view on that. Okay, so here's the camera view on this pitch. And in the top corner is the total pitches I threw. I threw only 6 fastballs and I threw 11 sliders because I'm working on the slider today, but I just wanted to make some fastballs in there for comparison. So here you try to follow the flight of the ball, and it's kind of hard because my kick gets in the way. And there in the front of the ground, you see the pocket radar picking up the velocity, but Diamond Kinetics Ball also gave me velocity. Let's go back and get another one. Let's choose this one, pitch number 5. Pitch number 5 was 56 miles an hour, 1,272 RPMs of spin, a little bit less spin than the fastball, but surprisingly, the velocity is not much slower than the fastball. I wouldn't mind if the slider velocity was a bigger gap between fastball and slider velocity. And it's more that I need to pump up the fastball velocity than decrease the slider. And the fastball, I haven't thrown in a while. I'm not in the shape to really throw too hard, but I got to get there. Then it shows the location of the ball, the spin on the ball. It had 7% gyro spin on there. I'm looking to be about 10%. It's a little lower. Some of them went into the 20s, and I think there might even be one that's like 27% gyro spin. That's too much gyro spin. I'd like it to be about 10. And then this one had 2 inches of vertical break and 5 inches of horizontal break. And then it's got my extension. Extension is where the ball started in my glove and how much farther out in front of my body was it actually released, 3.9 feet. And that was farther out than that fastball, but still they both should be even farther for me to throw hard. And that probably has a little bit to do with the shaky ground situation I was working on. Let's go back and see the video on that, of this slider. So I think on my next try with this, I've got to get the camera in a better position to be able to not show the rest of my body and only show release and ball flight. And I got some targets on there that I'm throwing at. One down and in, one down and away, and one up and away. Should have been a fourth one for up and in. But, that shows you an idea of the stuff that I'm trying to do in terms of pitch shaping. Diamond Kinetics, the ball, it's the least expensive of three options. This was $99, and I think I'm going to pay an extra $10 a month for the premium subscription, which would give me, the video and some of the other things that I wouldn't have without it. There's another one that I'm also probably going to pick one up that is a little bit more. This ball was, I think, $99 for the ball. And in fact, that was even a 20% deal when I got it. And there's another one called PitchLogic. And PitchLogic gives you a little bit more data. It's a little more advanced than this one. PitchLogic is used by some pro teams even. So is Diamond Kinetics. And I think that one, they've got a couple of different plans where originally they were selling you the ball for $300, and then you paid a lower price for the app. But now they've changed their policy and that you're technically leasing the ball for them and paying for the app. So it's going to be $30 a month with a minimum of 12 months, and I don't pay anything for the ball. And even for the $30, I can replace the ball, I think, 4 times as the cover gets scuffed up or something. But it's the same principle. It's a chip inside the ball for PitchLogic and a screen up on your iPad or your iPhone as a dashboard with your pitches. And then the ultimate one is Rapsodo. And Rapsodo's a $3,000 piece of equipment that gives you even more data than these two. And if you want to put a camera on it, it's even another $3,000. So those are the ones for pitch flight. For my mechanics, I've been using 2 different apps for biomechanics. And when I worked summer camps this summer, teaching pitchers, we use them. And when I work with teams and kids individually, we also use it. There's 2 that I use. One is called Mustard. It's put out by the legendary pitching coach Tom House. The first couple of years it was out, it was free. Mine's free, but some of the kids that I've recommended to get Mustard are now being charged. So I know he did say eventually he was going to have to charge like $10 a month for it or something like that. And what Mustard does is you take 6 videos minimum. You take 3 from the open face side. So it would be from the camera on the first base side for a lefty like myself, camera on the third base side for righty, and then you pause the camera, switch your position to the front view, and you take 3 more, and then you download it. And within 20 minutes, you get a report card from Tom House with all sorts of angles and degrees and stuff, stride length and release point, and everything like that from him. So that's a good teaching tool for mechanics. And there's another that I use that's costs a little bit more, and it gives you a lot more data, and that's called Pitch AI. And that one gets really, really technical. That's, like those ones where you see the pitcher, in a pitching lab with shorts and no shirt and all these electrodes all over his body and throwing, in front of all the cameras. That's kind of what Pitch AI does, for you. So, those are some good things for the guys that are pitching serious and want to make some adjustments to their game. Anybody's got any questions on it, please reach me. I love this stuff. I'd be glad to share it with you. All right, everybody have a good night. Good talking with you. Bye.